What up? What up? What up? Welcome to the conversation. You on with Cess. Before we get started, listen. Before we get started, I gotta tell you a little bit about me. And we got Coach Ro in the building. We're gonna definitely get him up here in just a second. I don't know if he's throwing up his dubs today or he got some Midwest music. Notice, and I'm gonna do this before he get on screen so he can respond because I know he can see me. So I'm gonna crack this Coca-Cola because I guess the Avion. If y'all tuned in last week, y'all know that I should be drinking like some Avion or some Mamba Forever. But and it's on the tape. The case didn't show up, so I'm on coke again this morning. I don't want to hear nothing about no water. I don't hear none of that. Okay, but before we get started with all of that, let me tell y'all something about me. I love all sports, but the two sports that I love the most are track and field and boxing because those are two things that it don't take nothing to get them on. Okay, boxing and track, it just take the will to want to do it. We can race, we can fight anytime. With that in mind, I mean, let me just say that there's a boxer, and if you follow me, you know that I've already been kind of talking about this guy, Curmel Moton. Um, I think he's the next best thing. I think he's the next best thing that we're gonna see when it comes to this here boxing thing. Um, and he's only got two pro debut fights. When I saw him the first time, the hair on the back of my neck stood up like it did when I saw Floyd Mayweather for the first time. Uh, and he's on the money team, but the speed with which this guy is getting down, the accuracy, for him to only be 17, to only be 17 again. He's only 17, people. They call it a big deal, and he's the next big thing. So as his career continues to grow, you'll see more and more of me talking about him here on now joining the conversations and just as Sessions official period. Listen, he's had two pro debuts. Neither one of two fights. I'm sorry, as a pro. Neither have been on TV. The last one was on the Benavidez undercard, and it was actually after the main event, so the arena was still full. Is what I'm saying, and I mean, it didn't take him one. It didn't take him one round. He knocked this guy down two times, and made real light work of it. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to shout this guy out, Curmel Moton. If you don't know who he is, find out who he is. If you're in the boxing like I'm in the boxing, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications so that when I'm talking boxing, you talking boxing. And with that, we'll let y'all see a little bit more of Carmelo, and then we're gonna get ready to bring on the coach. Coach Ro coming to the building. I just want to let y'all see just a little bit more of this guy. And shout out to Cinematic Access. This is Curmel Moton TV, I believe. This one may not be. This might be Cinematic Access here, but whose ever video this is, shout out to them because it's not. I don't own the video, but this is the best quality video I've seen of him getting down, and it's just worthy of being shown. If you like boxing, he's the next young thing. And I mean, I know people like Tank, and I like Tank too. And I know people like Shakur, and I know people like Devin. But young Carmelo at 17 has already been in the ring with Shakur, and he's already been in the ring with Tank. Um, so he's getting in there and he's testing his skills against the best that's out there right now. But I mean, it's no fear, and he's just all about boxing. If you follow him on Instagram, this is what he does. He puts in work. Okay, he puts in work. So, oh man, that's just ridiculous. Hey, yeah, come get him. This was I think the pro debut. But with that, we're gonna get on out of here from the boxing, and we're gonna get ready to bring up. Y'all know him. Y'all know he waiting to talk. Here he comes. Let's go, Coach Ro in the building. What's the deal, Coach?
Good morning, everybody.
Don't
How
come
are
in with
you
the
this
don't come
morning?
in with the good. Don't come in with the dry good morning, bro.
How are you this morning?
Uh,
Just to clear up, I did receive some intel that case. If you noticed from last week's show, I said this week. This week has not officially ended for the body armor or the Avion water. So technically, Cess jumped to a conclusion about not receiving her beverages.
Technically, no. Let's go. Let's go back. From Thursday to Thursday is a week. It's a week and a day, actually. Thursday to Thursday. It's been a week.
But I never said Thursday to Thursday. I said
There you
next
go.
week.
Yeah. We'll
How
go
you
back. We'll
doing,
roll the tape.
Cess? What's going
We'll roll
on?
the tape, man.
How you
What's the
doing?
deal? Oh man.
Not
You
much. You
see,
got your Golden State hat on today?
absolutely. And my
Okay.
look, I'm gold blooded, man.
All
Understand
right.
that.
Okay.
Understand. I'm gonna stay gold blooded. I know you got. Oh, you ready to talk Golden State? He
Uh,
ready to talk.
I
He ready
mean,
to talk Golden State.
only if you
But
like to. I mean,
remember, he told y'all he was a Pistons fan. He ain't said not a as my man Bubba Dub say not a me ta about the Detroit Pistons. Ain't said nothing about them, but keep wanting to talk about OKC. We can talk about them. Hey, come on, Josh Giddey. I ain't seen you with an OKC shirt on yet. Okay, so whichever one you want to talk about, or whichever one you want to talk about, I'm gonna stay 10 toes down with mine.
okay.
Get a shirt, man. Be a real fan.
So I will accommodate.
Let me see your Pistons gear. LeBron was in town last night. What are you doing?
I have some Pistons gear, and that score was very ugly, and we were not the recipients of a victory. It was a
Oh, so
very
you only rock with
lopsided
them.
win.
You
No,
only
no,
rock with them
no.
when they win. I
I am a
understand.
staunch Pistons fan. This is clearly a rebuilding year that I don't think the Pistons realized was a rebuilding year, but it is a rebuilding year. I'm thoroughly disappointed in some of the personnel moves, but I'm going to give Monty Williams a chance to get his feet set, and we'll see what he can come up with. I think that it's difficult to come from a team that he was once coaching that had so much talent to now starting with a rebuilding of a team. So we're going to find out where Monty Williams' true coaching skill lies, because he literally started from the ground up. We have some good backcourt pieces with
Name them.
Kay
Name them.
Cunningham and Jaden Ivey are excellent backcourt pieces. We have Durham as a
Have either
center.
one of them been player of the week or player of the month? Either one of them this season?
No,
Either one of them.
they
Okay.
have not. They have not.
All
They
right.
have not. Um,
That's what I was wondering. No.
and right now, I think it's very difficult in Pistons land because every other team in the East has significantly become better with their personnel. Most of the teams in their division have stepped up as far as getting players that can actually score. So that's kind of where the Pistons are. So I like this graphic. I really, we don't have to talk necessarily about the entire team. I want to pick back up on what I mentioned about Kevin Looney.
Who?
Kevon Looney.
Big Loon.
Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Those on the show witnessed Cess and Coach Burston state that not only was, what you call him?
Big Loon.
Big Loon was extremely skilled and that he had a lot to bring to the team.
No.
They show clips from when he was in.
Not what I said. Not what I said.
Clips from when he was in middle
Not what I
school.
said. Now see,
They
Coach Ro.
show clips from him being in middle school.
It's not what I said. I said that Big Loon was intricate part of the team. Coach Burston said Kevon Looney was all of these things in college and brought him up. And I said, if you bring it up, we got to pull it up. So what's the name of the video? And we watched it together. Mm-hmm. So let's have that correction there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So Looney Tune. He averages.
He talking about Looney. He talking about Kevon Looney, but his man go by the name Motorcade. Go ahead.
2.8 assists. Mm-hmm. Now 8.9 rebounds is impressive. Mm-hmm. Those numbers were serviceable on the team last year. And my point when I brought this up before was,
here goes theory.
He needs to bring more for this team to be successful. Not just him solely. I said the bench mob has to bring more. he is clearly one of the first people off the bench, or a lot of fact, he's been starting lately. So, with that being said, you have to bring more to this team for them to be successful. I watched all of the post interviews from the Golden State loss the other day. Yes, everybody, I binge NBA TV, and they looked discouraged. They looked hurt. Steph even mentioned, well, they said, well, how did you give up such a big lead? He said, oh, well, that's basketball, which is all true. Okay. And let me say this. Every team has a bad game, but this is very uncharacteristic of a Golden State team who, once again, didn't Chris Paul get hurt again? And Gary Payton II got hurt again.
My point exactly. They was winning before that, wasn't it?
No.
Okay, keep going.
No.
Yeah, we have been up 20. Keep going.
So
keep going.
Wait a minute. Are we insinuating that those two getting hurt was the reason why they gave up a 20-point lead?
No, I'm good. I'm a solid Golden State fan and a connoisseur of what it is they do. So when it's my turn, I'm gonna let you know what happened. But keep on with your theory.
Well, my theory has something to do with women's college basketball this week, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute because I got a big one this week.
Okay.
But and again, I want to know from not just you. I want to know from the audience. Once they tune in, if they're tuning in now,
yeah,
is
the
Looney Tunes show coming to a close? And I say that because I did some extensive research. He's due $7 million, 7 point something. I'm just rounding off the numbers. I looked up a few articles regarding the Golden State situation and their opportunities to do trades. One person that they dumped off on my beloved Pistons was Wiseman.
But your Pistons happily took him. They couldn't wait to get Wiseman.
That is true. That is true.
Said, ooh, let's see what Monty's going to do with him. And Monty's on the hot seat. Monty's on the hot seat because you can't get rid of Motorcade. So y'all better do something.
We're not going to keep calling him Motorcade.
When I went to the draft party, they introduced that man as, they said, what about if we call him Motorcade? Since we're in a motor city, like, a motorcade. But, I don't know, keep going.
Yeah, that's a horrible name. The people my staunch Pistons fans, we may call them CC or just Cade, that's a little more fitting. But you're not calling them nothing like Rookie of the Year or All-Star or played in the playoff game. Y'all call him anything like that? Good. That's a good comeback. That's a great comeback.
I was just wondering,
So
I call Stephen 2-time.
Now we're gonna have a Steph K conversation because I brought up Looney Tunes.
I don't know. I guess light skin just got on my mind.
So again, my point is it time to make an adjustment?
So is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay, so let's remember that I said my Warriors was in trouble and we needed to make a move. I said that already this season, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the move isn't Wiggins and the move isn't Looney. It's not Looney. Look, you can't give up. When you run a business, you don't give up the person that got perfect attendance. You just don't give him up, It's too much stuff that he does and can add by playing 82 games and being the presence that he is in the building. One thing about the Warriors that is different than a lot of organizations is that what makes them who they are and what makes the organization run the way it runs is not what they do so much on the court, but how they run their back office and off-court stuff, how they fit in and support each other. Hence why Draymond firing on Jordan Poole had such a bad effect on where the team went last year. Other teams can just be like, oh, they was fighting and get over it and move on. Because they're so connected and because the organization is built on so much chemistry, just couldn't recover from that. Fast forward to this season, and I just been saying, man, who want to play with Steph? Who want to play with Steph? Because Steph been playing out of his mind. Mm-hmm. Steph been playing out of his mind.
He has.
Gary Payton, Gary Payton II, I love him to death. He brings a defense that is unmatched. But if you can't stay healthy, that it doesn't help me.
Mm-hmm.
The best ability is availability. You hear that all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Paul, I wasn't sure that I was even gonna like him in a Golden State Warriors uniform. I'm not sure that I still like him in a Golden State Warriors uniform. I did like what he was able to bring. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm starting to talk about who needs to bring something different, it's not Kevon Looney. Looney, if you continue to do what you're supposed to do for 82 games, that'll work itself out. Now, who I need to do something and where we need to figure something out is who's supporting Looney. Who's coming in when Looney goes to the bench and playing that role. I don't have a dog coming off the bench. So it's easy to be like, yeah, Looney needs to do something, but there's a lot of people between Steph and Looney that got some stuff to do to make more money than Looney that I need to earn their checks.
But
Period.
wouldn't Loney do better if he were leading that charge off the bench, which is what he's accustomed to doing. So, and I know
No,
it's almost
I think
impossible
that
to get somebody that's big to insert into the starting lineup. I
I
realize
think
that,
that I
but
think
that's
that Loon
kind of
has
what Golden
been
State needs, though.
I think that Loon's been a part of the I think that Loon's been part of the starting lineup. I think that he's been a part of the starting lineup throughout the course of this. And like he said, he's come off the bench. He started. He's been the sixth man. He's been the last man. He's been a DNP. Uh, so he's very comfortable with that. Um, I feel like Andrew Wiggins, who I feel like is rounded in the shape, is going to be fine. And where I find myself being concerned, um, it's around Klay Thompson, who is absolutely my favorite player. But I'm concerned with what I'm seeing out of Klay. I need more from Klay. Before I would say, Looney, I need you to do something more. Klay, I need you to do something more. And I just, I know that he said that. I don't know if you saw the last interview that he did, where he kind of, it looked like they had got up under his skin a little bit, asking about whether or not he and Wiggins should be benched, or if a change should be made. I don't know if you saw that back and forth. It was a little heated. It was a little testy. Um, Something that I haven't seen out of Klay recently, especially not around whether or not you'll be a Warrior if you start or not. I take issue with anybody on the Warriors having a problem with coming off the bench, because King of the Light Skins, F and Stephen came back and came off the bench in
Mm-hmm.
the playoffs,
Mm-hmm. You
right?
know
And
what's
so for
funny?
me,
You know what's funny? Uh, when you said it before, this is we had conversations off camera. When
so
you
forgive
said
us if we
about
be like,
Klay
hey.
before,
So forgive us if we be like, remember you had said, because y'all might not have heard us say it, but
yeah,
we
but
said it
I think
somewhere.
you did say this one a little bit on the second show. You mentioned that Klay may be a tradable piece, and I laughed at you on camera and off camera, I believe. And you even went as far to say he may want out, and there may be some validity to that.
I don't know
Not
if he
saying that
wants
I
out.
doubted you.
I don't know if he wants out, but if he would be okay playing in LA. I don't know what we get back from the Lakers for a Klay. I don't want
Mm.
Anthony Davis.
But it's kind of the solution to Golden State's problems.
I'd take a Rui Hachimura. I'd take a
Okay.
Rui and something. But
Mm.
so I'm looking to see more from Klay, and I'm not. I don't. The reaction was a little different for me. I'm not. So I'm seeing a little more frustration than I thought, and I don't know if that's just being sick of people asking about the contract and what's going on with him.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
Moses Moody, he's been doing what he needs to do for me. I'm okay with him. He's growing it and coming in and making shots. He's making some shots that I need him to make. But
Yeah, I was gonna say Kaminga.
Jonathan Kaminga,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the young fella. His athleticism is out of this world. But where are you, young fella?
Exactly. I
Where are
agree.
you?
I
Because
agree.
the stuff that we saw in the preseason
Mm-hmm.
that had us saying, "Hey, okay, we can stand pat. We don't need to make a move."
Mm-hmm.
Didn't translate. It didn't translate to what
But
we're
even
seeing right
last
now.
year, though, I can remember looking at him saying, "You know what? He's going to be like the makeshift Wiggins. Like the way he was playing, he was doing everything. Um,
Listen,
I don't know what happened. I don't know.
all of the chatter that I heard over the summer, all of the chatter I heard over the summer had me thinking, hey, Okay, we ready to rock and roll. We finna do this thing, and it's not translating into regular season for me.
Mm-hmm.
So um, before I say Kevon Looney, who's been a core piece of this, that's the added to some rings. Uh, before I say he needs to do something else, uh, it's some other people on the Warriors that need to step up and earn their checks.
Well, maybe those are the ones that'll be packaged up
But
because you
the other thing that I'm
predicted
gonna
a
ask
move.
is
You
this:
did predict the move. Go ahead.
Steve Kerr, are you on the hot seat?
I would say no. Again, based off of what he's done over the past 5 years, there's no way he's on the hot seat. No way he's on the hot seat. He's going to ride out. I think he's going to ride. I think he's going to be on the hot seat when these superstars transition. That's when he's on the hot seat.
Listen, what have you done for me lately? This is a what have you done for me lately?
No, I agree with you, but I think that
and
collectively, all of the superstars on this team are saying, there's no way Steve Kerr goes.
No. Forget all the superstars on the team. Okay. I'm gonna say that, and the reason I'm saying that is because everybody ain't playing like no superstar. Now, I'd be damn, Steve Kerr, if you gonna sit on this bench and let Stephen Curry go out like this at the end of his career, not with him still playing lights out like this. Steph would do better going someplace. Steph would do better going someplace and continuing to get rings where he can contribute.
There may be some sizzle to, but I think that's why
I don't want to see us broke up. I'm gold blooded through and through, but I'm just saying,
the more and more we talk, there's going to be
when you get down to it, something has to happen. You know, I'm hearing Zach LaVine to LA. So maybe there's some three team trades that can bring some of that talent out of LA. I know that they were saying.
I told you. If Golden State passes up on what you want to call the third light skin, that's going to be a big.
It's not even about passing up. We don't have anything to package up to give.
Yes, you do. You got Kuminga. You got a couple. You have to empty out a couple bench players, and they're going to want to pick.
Put your business hat on. Put your business hat on. If I came to you and said, hey, Mr. General Manager, I got Jonathan Kuminga over here, and I'm looking to get your Zach LaVine. You hang up on me.
No, you're right. But I'm going to say, I need some picks. You have picks. I didn't look up exactly what it was, but I need.
I can't give up. I can't give up picks right now.
Okay, but I'm just telling you.
I can't give up picks. I can't give up picks right now. My team's too old to give up picks.
Well, but that momentum will stop because the young ones aren't coming along like they should, right?
Okay,
remember there was a time where Golden State had about a whole 5 players that was like.
You got Alonzo Ball that's hurt over there. We don't know if he's ever gonna play. So I'm gonna send you Chris Paul. I'll send you old Chris Paul.
You can sit in the chair.
And old Kumingas for Zach LaVine and one pick.
That's not. I mean, the Bulls have made some questionable moves. I think that there's a chance that team could be blown up, but I didn't want to get off topic. We did talk about that too. I think that's one of those teams where everybody where it's going to be a fire sale. I think it didn't work out. I think
you're going to see some changes in Minnesota. I don't want Rudy Gobert. He's definitely not welcome in Golden State. But
who's going? I think he's so. And I'm not being funny, and I'm not being funny, audience. But little things like the choke, that stuff doesn't go well with going to other teams. And I'm being serious right now. He already comes across as like not being a very likable individual in the locker room. But now you get choked, and you complain all the time. You whine. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Charlotte would get him. Somebody like that. Atlanta, maybe. Somebody that, would just really wouldn't hurt if they made their team worse.
Would a Karl Anthony Towns help the Warriors?
Yes, he would. Karl Anthony Towns is an excellent fourth option. He's just not a Batman, a Robin, or a Nightwing. I've always said that.
Somebody got to be Orko. Somebody got to be Orko, man.
Yeah, you gotta go help. Orko help with the help. Orko
That was a good
was
one right there.
one of the centerpieces of Grayskull. That we
You understand? Do you understand?
That's a good one.
Critical. So you don't have to be Batman and Robin all the time.
That's
Somebody got to be Orko.
I
You
would
understand?
like to look at Anthony Towns' current contract because
Who was Aladdin without the genie? You understand?
and oh man, you cannot paint yourself blue, Will Smith. I didn't even see the movie. You
Now
cannot
listen.
do
So
that.
here's the thing. So and we're gonna do an entertainment. We're gonna do some entertainment sections coming up. But I gotta say this about Aladdin and Will and all of that. Nobody can be the genie but Robin Williams, right?
Hey, oh,
Period. So
thank you.
for me, there was no reason to do an Aladdin. No disrespect to Will, he did a good job, but there was no reason to do that because the cartoon was classic enough, and there was no reason to redo the Lion King. They're just, and I'm really scared about this Color Purple musical that they have coming out on Christmas because you don't. And I know people
Wait, I
probably don't
heard about it.
understand.
Who's in it?
It's a musical. So people need to
Oh
understand
no.
that first. It's not based on the movie. It's based on the stage play. So you're gonna get a lot of singing. It's not gonna be no you told Hot Boy to beat me. It ain't gonna be that. Okay?
Hoppo, who the woman?
Yeah. Who this? Yeah. Get my children out of here. You're not getting none of that, okay?
She on the poach. Shaving
Uh
Mister.
I want to say Fantasia is leading the cast. So
Oh
it's gonna be
no.
a lot of singing and
Want me
singing.
then don't talk to me. You don't want me then don't talk to me.
Don't do that. That's a classic. That's a classic. See,
You don't want me then don't talk to me.
the one thing, see, don't do that. Don't do that. Because Fantasia had a lot of people who, like me, who can't sing, feeling like we could sing. And I appreciate her for that.
Hey,
You don't want me to
what
don't
my
talk to
boy
me.
said
You
the
understand?
entertainer say, you don't want me then don't talk to me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, say it with it on that one. Say it with it on that one. Classic. But we digress. We digress. We digress. But
Yes, that's right.
I promise y'all, an entertainment session is coming. I
Yes,
promise y'all.
right. I'm sorry.
You are so silly. You are so silly.
Okay. All right. So look. All right.
So we were talking about the potential of a Carl Anthony Towns.
Mhm.
What a Carl Anthony Towns could do for Golden State. Um, I just feel like it's Anthony Edwards' team right now.
It
It's Ant
is.
Man. I would love to see him and Carl Anthony Towns stay together. I just don't know if the team can take on his entire persona and be an Ant Man team with Carl Anthony still
Carl
there, having
Anthony
it with it
Towns.
because it was Carl Anthony's team at one point,
But
and I
I'm
got a
I'm
lot of
sorry.
respect.
Ant-Man needs that 3 Pippin-esque that can get his own shot, get to the rim, and is versatile on both ends of the court. He doesn't need a spot up center/forward shooting threes and scared to go to the rim and inconsistent in what he's doing. The problem I have with Carl Anthony Towns is that if he's not scoring, it's like he's almost irrelevant. He doesn't like feel the stats to say, okay, you only had 10 points, but you had 15 rebounds, you had 3 or 4 blocks, you had this to do stuff like that. That's my problem with
I can
him.
understand why you say that. I can understand why you say that, but let me say this right here. I see a different cat when Memphis is in town. I see a different cat when Memphis is in town, and I
Mm-hmm.
see if you kind of get under his skin, if you poke the bear a little bit, you get a little fire under it. And I
Mm-hmm.
like that fire. You know, I like that when he
Mm-hmm.
was up against Ja and it was back and forth in the playoffs and their dads was going back and forth and it was a good healthy competitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, you know. So I know that it's in there, and I think that you know we could bring it out. But I'm gonna go back to what I said about Steve Kerr. It's Steve on the hot seat, like
I don't think he is. I don't.
so. Okay, this is and this is no disrespect to Steve. I love Steve Kerr. I think that he's one of my favorite coaches. But let's look at the Warriors. He inherited a team that was pretty much culture had been defense, and it had been Mark Jackson built. Right,
Mm-hmm.
Steve was able to come in and do some great things with the core that had kind of been there.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got a Kevin Durant to just show up on Independence Day like fireworks at the fairgrounds. Okay. Um, and then he had a pissed off Steph. What's
Mm-hmm.
Steve Kerr's contribution? What's his signature? What's his fingerprint on this here thing?
I would say his fingerprint is winning a championship after Durant left. I don't
And
think
I accredit
anybody,
that
and
to I accredit
myself
that to
included.
but that's what I'm calling a pissed off Steph. Because Steph was just pissed off that season. He was pissed
But
off.
but your question was, my response to that is that he won a championship without a dynasty team. And let's be clear, I was not in favor of Durant being there, but I think if that team would have stayed together, we would have discussions about them arguably being one of the greatest teams of all time, winning multiple championships. Multiple championships. There was no way to stop.
How many teams do you have better than them all time?
Okay, I'm gonna go with my beloved Pistons, the Dumars and Isaiah version, not the 2004. I'm gonna go with the Celtics with the Bird era, Bird, McHale. I'm gonna go obviously with the Lake Show. That's three. I'm gonna stop there because there's some teams. Well, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry, San Antonio. I disrespected the San Antonio era. Yeah, so I got that San Antonio era with when they were, um, yeah, Duncan and Ginobili and the whole crew. So those four teams is where I would stop all time. I will put them at five, and that's without me doing all my research or whatever. I will put them at five right now.
And I'm coming from my heart, not my head, and that's always my thing. Roll loves stats, and he goes to the numbers. I go to the numbers sometimes. Sometimes for me, it's just about what I see, um, and I follow a lot of the backstory and get into the the narratives of who the players are and what's going on with them. Not my top five. Uh, Pistons for sure would be in there. 04 Pistons, interestingly enough, to me is one of the most underrated defensive teams to win the championship in this era. Uh, it was hella defense. Tayshaun
Mm-hmm.
Prince, Ben Wallace, uh, Mr. Big Shot,
Mm-hmm.
hella defense on that team. I don't know if they're top five, but I like to
Yep.
remind people uh, about that Pistons team. I got a lot of respect for them, but so um, the Bulls team, of course, the 172 or the season right
Oh my
after
goodness, I didn't say the Bulls. Hmm.
was definitely you're not a Michael Jordan fan. We wouldn't expect it.
Don't do that, Sass.
Um,
Don't do that.
the Bulls team that 172 for sure is up there for me.
My apologies,
Um,
audience. I forgot about the Bulls.
Kobe, Shaq, Robert Ory, Pretty Rick Fox, those boys back to back, they up there for me. Um,
Mm.
Showtime Lakers for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know people are gonna get mad and say, what about the Celtics? There's not a Celtics team that I found entertaining.
Here we
I
go.
have great I have great respect
I knew it.
for uh, what they've been able to do. I'm just not a fan. And like I said, I'm coming from my heart, not my head. So they wouldn't be up there. Part of me is probably just still biased. I got a bad taste in my mouth about that whooping we had to take at the end of the finals when we got blew out all the confetti was coming down on Kobe's head and everything. But nothing against those guys, and I take that, because anything is possible is one of my favorite moments. Kevin Garnett is one of my favorite players. Uh,
No Spurs?
well, listen, you
Now I
can't,
forgot
you
about
can't,
Chicago. You're
you
not gonna
can't,
say
you can't not say the Spurs. Anytime for me, anytime you could be like, oh, it's an odd year. The Spurs probably will win it. Listen, when the era goes like that, and I mean, people don't give Timmy a lot of respect. Uh, Timmy Duncan for me is a way better power forward than Carl Malone.
hmm.
And I mean, people can argue it. I got my biases
Mm-hmm.
about Carl Malone. It has more to do with off the court stories than on the court stories. But I just never really was a Utah fan. A lot of respect for those guys, Stockton, Hornacek. Um, it's not a fan, and like I told y'all, heart over head. So for me, Timmy Duncan is somebody I would go to battle with anytime. Would have him in the foxhole.
Hmm.
As far as basketball, uh,
I have a
this
question
dude,
for you,
this
Steph.
dude, Timmy Duncan never played a season where he didn't win 50 games.
That's a fact.
He never played a season where he didn't win 50 games.
I know I had a question that
Yeah,
I told you I wanted to talk about as far as
bring it.
WNBA, but I mean, I'm sorry, women's college basketball. But I got one last thing on this one. Is the Heat team with LeBron and Wade and Bosh even being considered?
Oh wait, let me close my. Okay. She got me.
Oh boy.
Unequivocally, no,
Unequivocally, no.
no. And
Okay,
I
what do
like
you?
the Heatles. I
Okay,
like the Heatles.
okay.
That was my favorite. That was my
We
favorite LeBron team.
we have to set aside a show to break this down because I want to hear your insight on this. I have to hear this in depth though, because I want to hear this. And we can't do it off camera either. We need to do this on camera. I need to hear this. Wow. Wow.
How
Okay.
many LeBron? How many LeBron win in Miami?
Audience, this is what we do. I just
How many?
said, I just said,
Humor me. How
break
many
it
did he win in
down.
Miami? How many did he win in
And this
Miami?
is the Cess way. That should be a segment. The Cess
What is
way.
it?
It should fly
What is
across the
it?
screen.
What do
He
you get? Two
won
of them?
two with the Heat,
Back to back?
back to back.
Hmm, okay. Mm-mm.
Okay. We're gonna talk
All
about
time?
that one.
All time? I mean, you didn't have him in your top five, so yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't. It
Mm,
literally popped up. You're right. You're right. But it was on the
mm-mm.
spot. And you know me. I like to
So
dig into my numbers. So.
When I think Michael, I think Magic, I think Isaiah, uh, Stephen, Spurs. I don't see anything that the Heatles did that rivals those five for me.
Okay.
But I'm open to hear
Yeah, we
your
gotta have this discussion
your
because I'm gonna break down
interpretation.
some stuff. I'm gonna dive into this.
He acts like stats change my mind.
They don't, but I like to.
Y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. A person could be like 5 for 5 from the line, perfect game, per- and have a haircut I don't like, and it don't matter what you tell me about him. It just not going with it.
That's
It's no
true.
disrespect to their game,
No, but it
but
is.
if you don't play a style that brings me to the sport, that brings me to the TV, that makes me be like I can't miss this, then I don't. It doesn't rank as high for me, and that may be unfair, to some of those players. But like, I can't think of one LeBron game where it was like, oh man, they finna get down. I can't miss this.
Hmm. Okay.
I'm just being honest.
All right. And that's exactly what we want.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's where we're at. As far as that goes.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, Saz, I know I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, I had a very interesting question about some current collegiate women's players. And it brought to mind the question, who would you choose to build a team around? And I did some research, and I have 4 players that I would like to consider. I'm going to give you the short version. Obviously, Caitlin Clark with Iowa. We have Juju Watkins of USC, Hannah Hidalgo of Notre Dame, and Elizabeth Kitley. May not be on a radar for a lot of individuals. So, real quick, Caitlin Clark averages 29.6 points. Juju averages 26.2. Hannah, 25. Elizabeth Kitley, 24. But what we're seeing now, we may have seen an era of the bigs being the anchors of teams, even in the WNBA right now. You have to have some size in order to win. Case in point. Cess, could you enlighten me and educate me, please, on the final 4 teams in the WNBA finals this year? Who were they? The final 4 teams.
Do I remember Las Vegas, New York,
Mm-hmm.
Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
Connecticut?
Thank you. Of those 4, 3 of those teams stand out because their bigs drive the scoring, that being Connecticut, New York, and Las Vegas. And as we know, Las Vegas eventually won the championship. Now, let me do a little compare and contrast right now in the WNBA. Some of the top players, okay? This is according to the rankings of top players. You have Jewel Lloyd, phenomenal guard out of Seattle. But here's some of the point that I'm making. Next up, and their rankings of players and great players, Breanna Stewart, who's a forward. Asia Wilson, who's a center. Mephisha Collier, forward from Minnesota. And then we have, I don't want to butcher her name, but I think it's Eric, the guard from Dallas. I mess her name up all the time. Very exciting to watch.
Arike Ogumawale.
Wow. That's who I was talking about.
And
So
that's
when you're
who you
talking
need to be.
about
That's who you need to
Arike
be talking about.
Ogumawale and
Yeah,
Jewel
her
Lloyd
brother,
are
her brother played for Houston.
exceptional talents. Okay. Extraordinary talents. But my point is, if you're building a team right now in this WNBA, I contend that you have to look in the area of a big. So that's why. Now, let me say this. I'm not talking about who's the best player out of the players that I mentioned. So let me remind you, Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins, Hannah Hidalgo, Elizabeth Kitley. We have a rookie over in South Carolina who's going to have something to say about best players. I think not, if not this year, next year. Our highlight reel. Remind me of her name, Seth? The highlight reel.
I see her. She right
South
here.
Carolina. So
There she go. Fulwiley.
I think, yeah, Fulwiley. I think out of those 4 players that I mentioned, I think Juju Watkins, hands down, is the best player out of those 4. Again, I know I left some great players out. She's 6'2". USC is undefeated. Tune in and watch her. She's a walking bucket, okay? But if I were to choose between Caitlin Clark, Juju Watkins, Hannah Hidalgo, and Elizabeth Kitley, I would unequivocally build my team around Elizabeth Kitley. She's 6'6". She averages 24.3 points. She plays for Virginia Tech. She's versatile. She can go with both hands. This is her 5th year. She gradually has increased her production from averaging 12 points a game as a freshman, progressing to 18, 18, 18, and now 24.3 points per game. She's shooting 92% from the free throw line. She has a field goal percentage that's right under 60%. So again, we're talking about building a team around. I'm going with a big that can score, and that would be Elizabeth Kitley, which, by the way, leads right into my theory, and I'll let you touch on this, Seth. Virginia Tech plays, wait for it, LSU this week. I think the LSU card, my theory is that the LSU Tigers received a call and said, you better get my girl on the court. We need the ratings. It's Battle of the Bigs. Get her in there this week. Okay? Moki, I don't care what you're talking about. We don't know what's going on. You haven't told us anything. Nobody knows anything, but that their mothers are going back and forth, disparaging each other and posting pictures about what your daughter's out of line and you need to clean up your act and you fake and all this stuff. He got the call and said, I think it's very ironic that out of the clear blue sky, as recent as 2 days ago, Moki saying we have no desire or intent to share what's going on in his locker room or whatever's going on. We're going to handle it the way we're going to handle it. That miraculously, one of the leading stories on ESPN is that Angel Reese is coming back. The week they're playing Virginia Tech. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Elizabeth Kitley versus Angel Reese is going to be some very high ratings, and I will tune in and watch that game. So that's all I have for you on that topic. I'm going to definitely, audience, dive deep into some women's collegiate basketball and WNBA, but that is my take on building a team, roped in with my theory. Cess, please.
First of all, out those 4 players, I wouldn't take any of them. But since you're going to make me pick one.
Thank you.
I mean, because here's the thing. For me, if I'm building my team around anything, I'm building it around something that came out of the South Carolina program, period, as far as women's basketball goes, for me. But Kitley's nice. I could build around her. But I'm all about generational talent. So I would be looking for MiLaysia Fulwiley. I'm happy to build around a Gumawale. I would build around the Chelsea Gray. I would build around the Asia Wilson. I would build around the Jackie Young. I would build around the Kelsey Plum. I would build around the Brianna Stewart.
Says, see, it's just Says making her own
but
rules. Okay,
I picked the player. I picked the player for you, but I'm being honest. If I was going to build a team, I'm going for the generational talent. So I would be waiting on MiLaysia, or I would go get one of them other people I named.
But out of the 4 that I named,
I said I would take Kitley. I would take Kitley. I would build around that, but
all right.
It would, and it's no disrespect to her, but it would be reluctantly.
No, and I agree. I'm literally like what you tell me earlier, put on your business hat, right?
For me, it's not about what you can do on the court as far as what's instilled in you as a teammate and a professional. And I don't think that you get much better than what comes out of South Carolina. And that's no disrespect to the other programs.
No, I agree with that. I totally agree. We're seeing a dynasty that's going to build a talent pipeline that we've never seen before of players that are going to go on the first round of the WNBA draft, probably for the next, as long as
we're going to also see, we're also going to see a new round of slights and attacks on Dawn. So
new round.
Look out for that.
We've already seen. We've seen.
I know they're gonna fire. They gonna fire it up some now. She got another generational talent. They're gonna fire it up a little bit more. She hasn't let one recruit get out of South Carolina since she's been there. So,
but that's maybe musty TV to see LSU, and I'm very curious, according to my theory, on how much Angel Reese plays. You weren't on the bench. You weren't with the team. Were you practicing? We can assume she may not have been practicing. By the way, it may have something to do with her being the first, the leading NIL income receiver, right at about 1.7 million, followed by her teammate, 1.3 million. And then third is Caitlin Clark.
Her teammate who?
What's her name?
Flage?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm saying that right, but
that is, yep, it's her. Yep. So Reese is first, she's second, Caitlin Clark is third. Did you know Caitlin Clark just signed a deal with Nike too? I don't know
Go
exactly.
Caitlin.
It didn't say sneakers, Caitlin. Yeah, it didn't
Go
say.
Caitlin. I like to see the women get money. I think a lot of the times in the women's game, we get caught up on the marketing directs us to only support one player or one team, and it could be a lot of good players in the WNBA.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a lot of women with shoes and with signature shoes and really built out brands with some of these shoe companies and things. But I know that part of the problem is that, so they say it's a little bit more expensive to have female superstars than males because you have the hair and the nails and all of that. And I call BS on that because there's a lot of
Yeah,
men walking around with weaves and wigs and
you can't.
plug-ins
Yeah,
and
that's the whole reason. I
what
agree.
they call it, the Benines, the jeans, whatever it is, where they paint up their faces and everything.
Hey, Seth, I want to get your thoughts on something. Was it a play on words? Because the question was asked, why did you pick Caitlin Clark out of all of the players to be your, first? She's the first collegiate athlete, by the way, to get in a State Farm commercial. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they said she looks like everybody's good neighbor. She could be everybody's good neighbor. Was that a play on words because that's kind of their motto, or do you think that was more like general sentiment?
Two things can be right. Two things can be right. So it was definitely a play on words because they thought it would be clever, but it was also just
Will they work that into the commercial?
I don't want to say racism, but just some of that blatant in your face, not so much in your face.
Thank you,
Uh,
Sess. We
it's
didn't rehearse that one.
it's insinuations.
I wanted to do this on the commercial.
But I don't. So here's the thing: I don't give a lot of stock in the State Farm commercials. I would never do business with State Farm. I'm a progressive kind of kid. Flow cracks me up. Okay, let me say that. But I mean, when you think about like the progressive commercials, I would either do listen, Flo and her crew, and then Mayhem over at Allstate. Right. So you got them two going, and then you got like Chris and his twin, and Patrick Mahomes and his great deals, and then there's no way I'm putting on the khakis for that. And that's no shot at that's no shot at old khaki pants in Michigan because I love Harbaugh, but there's no way. And
you
I'd
can't
be
forget
so
about my
irritated.
boy. Who's the older guy to do the commercials where we had historic things when it happened? And he walking people around. He had the glasses on with the vest and the jacket, and he's like, "Yeah, this happened in 2000."
I like my man who be like, "Don't be like your parents." And they had it. They got that sign to be like love, peace, and happiness, and they be like, "We need it." He be like, "No, you don't." And he throw it in the trash can. Hey, again, progressive. Okay, I'm just saying. I keeps it real. No, no State Farm, and I'll be so irritated that State Farm is on the 2K game. And the guy with the little with the mohawk, he's not that bad. But the stars that they have on there, the things that they do, especially when Chris Paul did the speed walk.
Yeah, that commercial.
And then when he had the shoulder pads out to here with the glasses on and the so compare that to like Flo and them.
The irritating part about that commercial is when he looked to his left to the person that was walking.
It was still walking.
That irritated me, and this is true story. Everybody, I turn that commercial when I see it come on because of that. I can't stand the part where he does like this.
Oh, and then no. It's a trip because it was commercials that I used to turn off, but they don't come on anymore. And they were the oh gosh, I'll probably get in trouble, but they were like Geechee like commercials to me.
Yep. A whole another segment. I already know where you're going with it.
So Popeyes had one.
Oh boy.
And that lady be like, "Me and my scary chicken." You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. But I'm gonna tell you, you know what? Though?
Irritated my whole soul.
Let me
Her.
tell you
Period.
something that
That whole.
irritated my soul with Popeyes. And I had everybody in the barbershop laughing because they knew I was serious. They thought I was cracking a joke. I don't appreciate the man of color singing because he has the chicken. Ooh, Amy
Okay.
Popeyes.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
no,
But you understand the story behind that, right?
I do. He was Canadian, by the way. I
Yeah,
watched the
and it
whole
was like their
backstory of it.
first. Yeah, right. The first. I don't know if it was the first
I
Popeyes or the
don't care.
first
I don't care. I
delivery.
don't care. I don't care. Because
Yeah,
ooh, I love Popeyes. It's
yeah.
too much.
That one got me. But you know who used to irritate me? Don't eat me now.
Hey, you know what? This is one of them days. So between
The
ooh,
cinnamon toast crunch,
yeah,
Don't eat me now. That I cut the commercial. I cut the TV off. Just irritate. I don't know why. Just
I mean his
irritated me.
whole body. Ooh, I love Popeyes. I couldn't stand that commercial. I was like, have you seen the extended version? Oh, we need to
Yeah,
show that on the show
it was
next.
on YouTube. It was on YouTube. I seen it.
Oh
It
no.
was on YouTube. I
They
seen
could
it.
have got Fantasia to do it. You sexy wing.
And I don't know. And then guess my thing with Popeyes was she was popping up like it was something new you could do with chicken. It's nothing you can do. There's nothing new under the sun that you could do with chicken. They done made it boneless, and y'all still gonna have to help me understand what's the difference between a boneless wing and a nugget because they basically look the same. But the boneless wings at BW3s look like a chicken nugget to me. But okay, I digress. Um, you can fry it, bake it, boil it, air fry it. It's just two wings, two breasts, two legs. It ain't nothing new that you can do with that. We done made it strips. We done made it nuggets. We done made it boneless. It's nothing new coming with that. So for her to be on them commercials talking about my new such and such, I just couldn't get with
They
it.
should have
So
got Fantasia to say, you sexy wing.
yes.
You
Man,
sexy
once
man.
again, it has been an absolute pleasure, sir. I don't even know if we got to all the topics.
Ooh, I love
Oh
Popeyes.
man, you're gonna be a meme. You're gonna be a meme, bro. I can't wait to put this one up.
I
But
hate that commercial.
hey man, it has been awesome. We will do this again next week. Um, we didn't get to all of the topics, but we're gonna keep hitting the list.
Smash the
Um,
subscribe button. Support. We
yeah,
got some
follow
big
us.
things coming up for y'all. You just don't know what we have in store for y'all. We're gonna add more time to what we're doing. We got some innovative stuff coming your way. Get ready.
Get ready. And until next time, stay tuned, talk soon. We out.